Hey guys, I'm recording this video for like the 5th time because the first few times it just stopped recording, and then now the last time my mic cut off. So yeah, I've had to redo this like 7 different times. So yeah, so you guys voted for me to do the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard tier list, so that's what I'm doing now. I'll still upload the Pixel Partners Spirit of Justice DLC case Funny Moments compilation sometime soon, but you guys wanted this one first. So we're going to change all these tiers. So the first one's going to be called She King on My Giz Till I Liz Wiz. So just don't question it. Okay, A is going to be for amazing. B is going to be for great. C is going to be for decent, and then D is going to be for downright unlistenable. So only one album is going to go in this tier. We'll get there when we get there. And then I'm going to add another row because a lot of these I have not listened to because they're like live albums and bootleg albums and like remix albums and shit. So I've not listened to all of these. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove all the albums that I have not listened to into this tier. We're going to start at the beginning. So we have Willoughby's Beach. It's decent. It's just some garage, like some standard garage surfer rock. There's not really anything special about it. I just don't really like surfer or garage rock. That's where it ends up. Now we have 12 Bar Brews. It's the exact same genre, surf, garage rock. It's just slightly better than Willoughby's Beach. It's decent, but it's not amazing. It's not one of their best, but it's also not their worst. So it's still good. I like Sam Thierry's Last Shot. That song is epic. Then we have Eyes Like the Sky. This album is like a spaghetti western audiobook type thing. And the audiobook thing is cool. The story of this album is cool, but western is just not one of my favorite genres. So yeah, that's where it ends up. But the song Drum Run is epic. Now we have Float Along, Fill Your Lungs. So this album is just decent. The opening track, Head On Pill, is way overrated in my opinion. It's also way too long of a song. I don't think that, like, for what it is, it justifies how long it is. But it's still a good song, and Let Me Mend the Past is also a really good song. I also like Mystery Jack. So all the songs on this are pretty good. Maybe with more listens I'll come to enjoy it more, but this is where it ends up for now. Then we have Oddments. This one is not unlistenable. It's still good, but it's just like a collection of like outtakes and stuff. So it's just not that great. But Work This Time is what saves this album in my opinion. It's just so psychedelic and the drums are fantastic on it. So yeah, that's where I'd put it. Now we have the first S tier album. So I'm In Your Mind Fuzz is fantastic psychedelic rock. The drums are fantastic, the guitar playing is fantastic, the bass playing is fantastic, the vocals are fantastic. I especially love the bass on Empty, and also the I'm In Your Mind Fuzz suite. It's really good. I also love the drums, especially on Am I in Heaven. The tone of the toms and the way that they're played is so good during like the middle section of that song. Alright, so now we have Quarters. I used to think that this was actually amazing, but after like a few more listens, it has actually moved down here. It's at like the top of decent. It's not like great, but depending on the day, it could move from the top of decent to the bottom of great. But for now, I'm going to say it's at the top of decent. I think that The River and God Is in the Rhythm are both fantastic songs, some of their best. But Lonely Steel Sheet Flyer and Infinite Rise are not as great, and they don't use the 10 minutes and 10 seconds as effectively. So the gimmick with this one is that each song is 10 minutes and 10 seconds, and there's 4 songs, so that adds up to 40 minutes and 40 seconds. The River and God Is in the Rhythm just use those 10 minutes and 10 seconds way better than the other two. We have Paper Mache... Whoa, slow down, Noah. Okay, we have Paper Mache Dream Balloon. So this one is amazing. This one is super underrated. I don't know why people don't talk about it more. I would say it's like psychedelic folk music, kind of indie folk music, I guess. But it's really good. Some of the melodies on this thing are so sweet sounding. Like the melody on Time Equals Money is so sweet sounding. I love it. Also, Trapdoor slaps. Right now we have Nonagon Infinity. And if you guys know King Gizzard, you know where this one is going. It's going straight into the top of the S tier. This album is fan-fucking-tastic. The pacing is great, the flow is great, it sounds fantastic, and the production is pretty grimy and like muddy, but that works to the album's benefit because of like what it's about, what its themes are and stuff like that. So this album is just fantastic. I love it. Right now we have Flying Microtonal Banana. This is their first official exploration into microtonal music, and I would say it's amazing. Not as good as Paper Mache Dream Balloon, and that is for one reason. Rattlesnake does not need to be 7, almost 8 minutes fucking long. It just doesn't. I just don't think that, like, for what that song is, justifies how long it is. That might be a hot take. I know, like, a lot of people love that song, but I just don't think that it needs to be 7, almost 8 minutes long. But the other songs are fantastic, like Open Water, Melting, Sleep Drifter, Billabong Valley. Doom City is kind of mid, but it's still good. Nuclear Fusion is probably my favorite on the album. It's amazing. The title track is also just kind of mid, but yeah, most of the songs on this thing are really good. And regardless of like my issues with like how long Rattlesnake is and how some of the songs are just kind of mid, the pacing and the flow is fantastic. Murder of the Universe. This one is going straight to S tier. It's not as good as Nonagon Infinity, but it gets really close. So this album is split up into 3 chapters. Each chapter is amazing, really good prog rock. I know a lot of people have issues with the spoken word element of this album, but it honestly doesn't bother me that much. I think if it was just the music and it had no spoken word by Lee Sr., then it would suffer more because of it. It would be amazing or great, but it would not be like S tier if it did not have the spoken word. All right, now we have Sketches of Brunswick East. This one is great. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's great. It's really good jazz, really good psychedelic jazz. There's also some very cool elements in it, like in the book. The synth in that song and the bongos like halfway through the song are fantastic. I also like the lyrics on that one. The Spider in Me has a fantastic melody, and I also love the bass on Dusk to Dawn on Ligon Street, I think that's what it's called. Polygondwanaland. I would say that this one is amazing, but it's not S tier. I know a lot of people would probably put it here, but not me, because the songs after Crumbling Castle, mainly Polygondwanaland, The Castle in the Sky, and Deserted Dunes, Welcome Weary Feet, those 3 songs are honestly just okay compared to like everything else before it and after it. I mean, regardless of how I feel about those 3 songs, the flow of this album is one of the best flows that they've made in an album. Yeah, the flow and pacing of this album is really good. Yeah, I'd put it above Flying Microtonal Banana. And now we have Gumboot Soup. You know what? I'm gonna move quarters up, and then I'm gonna have Gumboot Soup be the top of decent, because there are some really good songs on this, but again, it's just like outtakes and stuff. But there are some really good songs like I'm Sleeping In, Superposition, and The Wheel. All those songs are really good, and I love them. Also, All Is Known. That song is also really good, but I just don't think it's like great, but it is decent. You know what? It gets bonus points because on the vinyl version, the end of the wheel, it just keeps repeating on and forever. It's like, I don't know if you guys know about vinyl, but there are things called locked grooves where like, I think it's on the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's on that vinyl as well, but at the end of like a song, there will be a locked groove where the needle can't go anymore, and it just repeats a certain part of the song over and over again. So this one gets bonus points for that, so it's going to move up to great. We have Fishing for Fishy. This is really good blues music. There's some really, really good synth stuff in here as well, especially on Acarine, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Acarine. Really good synth stuff. I wouldn't say it's above Paper Mache Dream Balloon. Still really good though. Acarine, Cy Boogie, Boogeyman Sam, the bird song, Real's Not Real. I love Real's Not Real. I love the lyrics on that song. Then we have Infest the Rat's Nest. This is their first metal album, and it is going straight up there. It's not better than these two, but it is still really good because the flow of it and the pacing of it is really good. I wish it were longer than 30 minutes, but for those 30 minutes, like if you guys work out, I implore you and I insist that you try working out with this album. It'll do wonders for you. It's really good like workout music. So I think my favorites would be Planet B, Perihelion, Self-Immolate, and Hell. Okay, so now we have KG. and this one is just decent. I know like a lot of people love this album because it has Straws in the Wind on it, but hot take here, I don't like that song. I honestly think it's very overrated. But there are some really good songs like Intrasport, The Hungry Wolf of Fate, and Honey. Those 3 songs are very good, but everything else is just kind of Automation and Minimum Brain Size are pretty good songs, but overall it's just kind of meh. Alright, now we have LW. This album is amazing. I wouldn't say it's S tier, but it is amazing. Depending on the day and my mood, either of these could change. I can't really decide whether LW or Flying Microtonal Banana is their best exploration of microtonal music. For right now, I would say that LW is their best microtonal album. If not now, then when? Plura, I can't fucking say it. Plura, Static Electricity, See Me, and then KGLW as the closer. That closer is nuts. I love it. It is a pretty long song, but I think that it justifies its length. Static Electricity is one of their best songs in my opinion. It's so good. Right now we have Butterfly 3000. This album is overhated. I think it's great. I would even say it's better than Gumboot Soup, but not better than... depending on the day and my mood, like, these two could switch, but for right now I'm going to say it is better than Quarters, because the flow of it is fantastic. Not all the songs are great, like Black Hot Soup, I know like so many people in the community love that song, but I just don't think it's that good. Also 2.02 Killer Year, that one is just okay, but songs like Blue Morpho, Interior People, Dreams, Shanghai, and Ya Love, those songs are fantastic. Right, now we have Made in Thailand. I'm gonna say this one is great. I would even say, yeah, I would say it's there. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it is fantastic. I know a lot of people don't like it because it's super jarring and like electronic and kind of weird, but I mean, I've heard Enjoy Your Rabbit by Sufjan Stevens, so I think that anything that this album could have thrown at me, I would just be desensitized to, and I just wouldn't care. The flow between the two songs is really good. It also flows well into Laminated Denim. We'll talk about that one later, but it goes off the gimmick of each song is 15 minutes long, it's a 30-minute album, and there's a constant 60 beats per minute flowing through it, and then there's polyrhythms for like the actual beats of the song. It's amazing. I love Smoke and Mirrors. The ending of Smoke and Mirrors is so good. I love Ambrose's rapping. It's very entertaining. Alright, so this is the album that's downright unlistenable. So this one is Satanic Slumber Party. This album sucks. It's just like, I thought that Enjoy Your Rabbit was jarring. No, this is just worse. It's so bad. It's just like, I don't know what you would even categorize it as, noise music, I guess, but it's horrible. I hate it so much. All right, now we have Omnium Gatherum. It's one of their most ambitious albums. It's an hour and 20 minutes long. There's like so many genres in it. There's like some rap, and then there's some metal songs. There's some like standard rock songs, and then there's a song that literally sounds like Christmas. That song is Candles. That's one of my favorites on the album. And then there's The Dripping Tap. So here's another hot take from me. The Dripping Tap is way too long. For how jammy it is and for what the jams are, it does not need to be 18 minutes long. It could have been cut down a little bit shorter, in my opinion. But it's still a good song. I still like it. So I think my favorites from this album would be The Dripping Tap, Gaia, Ambergris, Candles, Red Smoke, and The Funeral. Those would be my favorite songs on this one. It's a pretty good album, and the synth work on The Garden Goblin is also really good. Ice Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava. This album is fantastic. I love it. It's so jammy. I think that all the jams in the songs definitely justify how long they are. Mycelium could have been a little bit shorter, and also Ice 5, but I still think that this album is fantastic and one of their best. I think it might actually be my favorite if I'm being honest. Gliese 710, Magma, and Iron Lung would be my favorites off of this album. It's so good. Okay, now we have Laminated Denim. So if you asked me like a few months ago where I would put this, I would put it down here. And I think the reason for that is because, so Giztober last year, they released this album, they released Laminated Denim, and they released Changes, all within the same month. And these two, they came out like 5 days like apart. So this is a jam heavy record, and this is another jam heavy record that came out like days after this one came out. So I think I was just tired of the jams. Now I think that it would be right there. The flow between the songs is amazing, and just like Made in Timeland, it has like a constant ticking clock of 60 beats per minute. And Laminated Denim is actually an anagram of Made in Timeland, which is also really cool. So yeah, I think Hypertension it's not actually my favorite song by them, but I think it is their best song that they have ever made. I also love the bass tone in it. In the ending of the Land Before Timeland, the first song, I think it might be one of my favorite King Gizzard moments in like a song. It just like the song, like the entire time, the Land Before Timeland is like super happy and go lucky, and then like the last 3 minutes it just switches and it just becomes this like space rock ominous sound, and it's so cool. Okay, now I have changes. This one is amazing. I would say it's better than Fishing for Fishies, like only by a little bit though. The synth work is amazing. The bass playing, oh my god. I think Lucas is the bass player's name. He is just like cooking up a storm on this album, especially on AstroTurf. AstroTurf is so good. Gandhi is also really good with like the polyrhythms and the syncopation. Very good album. Exploding Suns is also really good. I also like the title track Change. It's also the opening song. It's 13 minutes long, and you would think you would get bored, but no, it just like it keeps changing, as in the name. Finally, we're here. We're at Petrodragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night, the beginning of Merciless something. I can't remember. But it's a long title. It's almost as long as like a Sufjan Stevens song title, but this album is a prog metal masterpiece. I honestly don't know where to put it right now, but I would say it is better than Murder of the Universe by like a little bit. So this song's drums are nuts. I don't know how Cavs does it. Yeah, I've been trying to learn Motor Spirit, and that song is hard. Like the polyrhythms in the second section of the song are very, very, very hard to understand and very hard to play. This album is fantastic. I also love the guitar tones. The only complaint that I would really have about it is that the bass and the vocals are just too quiet in the mixing. I don't know what happened, but the bass and the vocals are just like too quiet in the mixing, so you can't really understand some of the lyrics unless you have like a lyric sheet in front of you. And the bass playing is just too quiet, but the bass does really, really shine on Witchcraft, which is one of my favorites from the album. Yeah, so that is my completed King Gizzard tier list. So King Gizzard fans, if you're out there, I would assume you are since you voted for this video over the other one. Don't flame me too hard. Especially for this placement. I have a feeling some people are going to be mad about KG being this low. But yeah, so that's my King Gizzard tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed, and have a good day.